Hi, my name is Steve Rahi. I am a Premier Field Engineer specializing in management technologies. Today is part 3 of an ongoing discussion talking about Power BI and ConfigMgr. We are talking about Power BI in this session in general, part 3, and then with the goal of moving toward a ConfigMgr focused discussion as we move along. So part 3 wraps up kind of the tour of Power BI itself as a tool, and then from here we will start to talk about ConfigMgr specific examples of using Power BI. So the agenda, looking back kind of where we've come from, and then really talking about the bulk of our time exploring data in the Power BI service. Do want to touch on, again, Power BI and Excel, and then we will kind of wrap it up from there. So looking back, we've already talked about in detail using the Power BI desktop, how we can leverage that to help us model data, pulling in data with our data sources, putting relationships in place, and so forth. Then taking visualizations to create reports using that data. Now we're going to take it to the next level and actually talk about how we would use the reporting data to build in dashboards and the like. So in this piece, we're going to focus on the Power BI service. So there's a couple of interesting pieces for the Power BI service. First of all, the Power BI service is really a pretty natural extension of the Power BI desktop. So think of the Power BI desktop as your local authoring app. The data that's in there really isn't shareable with anyone. Once you have the data built out the way you want to, you can save it off and then load it into the service, and from the service be able to massage it, put the dashboards the way you want to, build in interactivity, and ultimately share the data, right? So one of the pieces that you'll see, really powerful piece, all of these really, of the Power BI service is this thing called Quick Insights. So it could be that you've been working with a data set for years, you know everything that's in it, and very comfortable with it. Or it could be you're dealing with a data set that's brand new to you and you really don't know all that much about it. You can kind of get a sense by looking at it and so forth, but it would help you to kind of get a kickstart on things, to have a service like Power BI look at it and kind of suggest some things that it finds to you. Either way, Quick Insights, I've seen that folks that are in that first category, very, very comfortable with their data, know what's there, so forth. They'll run Quick Insights and they will see details pop out that they just didn't know that data was telling them. And conversely, those that are kind of new with the data set, it's a great way to get started and let Power BI discover some of the details that the data set might be telling you and present it to you. So Quick Insights actually, again, it's part of the Power BI service. It leverages machine learning algorithms to actually do the job that it does. And once it gives you the insight details, you can take elements of those that make sense to you and share them in your dashboards as you create them, and so forth. So dashboards next. Dashboards are created from reports that you build and so forth in the Power BI desktop app. So the dashboards are the elements that can be shared. You can actually manage access to the dashboards. You can you share them through the Power BI service, and by sharing them, you can make them accessible on any device that you want to use. Elements from the reports can be pinned onto the dashboards. You'll see all that in a minute. Q&A is a really cool feature of the Power BI service that allows you to use common language to ask questions about your data, and then Power BI interprets that and shows you the insights based on the questions you're asking, and so forth. So a really, really cool way to get a handle on your data, what it's telling you, and so forth. So best way to understand it is to see this in action. So I'm going to pull in my VM. Could do it just on my desktop. I'll pull in my VM. So notice this is not the Power BI desktop app. This is the Power BI service. And so what I can do is actually pull in data that I've saved off from the Power BI desktop app. I would do that through getting files and such, or databases. And you'll see me do something with this here in a minute. For now, I've already pulled in a data set. And so I can access all of my data sets and so forth by looking at the contextual menu. So lots of different things in here. Here's the Contoso sales data set I'm going to use for demo. There's a couple of others here as well. So one of the things that you can do with any data set is go and look for quick insights. Now, I've actually not got quick insights here because this data set's in progress. It's taking far too long, honestly, to go through and do the analysis. Power BI, the quick insights should only take 10 to 12 seconds, really, to go through it. But it's taking far longer than that. I think something's messed up here. But I have another one where I've actually already done the quick insights analysis on. So if you have a data set that you've not done the quick insights analysis on, you would see, instead of view insights or the other one, you would see quick insights here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you the view insights to kind of see what Power BI figured out for me. So this is a data set. In fact, let me click on it, procuring analysis. So this is a data set. You can see it over here. This looks very similar to my Power BI desktop app. Absolutely, I can interact with that. I can pull things onto the canvas, no problem. But what I want to do is see what Power BI has figured out on my behalf. So I'm going to view insights. And these are just elements that Power BI has picked up that it thinks are interesting based on the data. So I'm just going to scroll for a while. You'll see that there are quite a few of these that Power BI has picked up, right? In fact, let me grab the slider and just pull down. You'll see them all. And so really interesting to just let the service kind of look at the data and try to tell you what it sees, and maybe it will pull out things that maybe you haven't seen, right? And so once you have these visualizations, you might find one that you think, oh, that's interesting, and I want to put this visualization on the dashboard. I like scatter charts. So let me see if I can find one like this one. Maybe I want to pin this to a dashboard. So I can click on the pin button. It will give me the option to pin to an existing dashboard or use a new dashboard. I'm just going to pin it to the existing dashboard. Dashboards are over here. We will get to them in a minute. I can also go through and get a little bit more data from here. So in order to get this data set, I actually did quick insights to the data set to get this. Well, there's nothing that says that I can't drill in further. You see some interaction. You'll see some interaction that's possible as I drill in and so forth. This second button puts me into focused mode, right? And so I can pull in additional details while I'm in focus mode. Actually, just clicking on the visualization takes me to focus mode too. I would exit focus mode over here, right? And so with that, I can get additional insights into the data. Now, this one is probably not the best to do that, so I'm going to exit focus mode and then go to the top, and I'll just pull the top one. So I'll click on here and then click on Get Insights. And so what I find out is this has already been calculated. If it hadn't, it would be sending it to the service, and the service would look to see. But I've got some additional detail, and I can drill in, and I can see that detail as I kind of walk along the chart and so forth. There's also some interesting filter controls that I can apply on the right. So I can hone in on other kinds of things here and so forth, right? So a lot of interesting things you can do just as you try to leverage quick insights to get more detail of the data. All right, so let's turn our attention to the dashboards. And so ultimately the goal is in here to go ahead and create the dashboard and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my procurement analysis dashboard. It's got some interesting elements in here, right? So again, reminder, dashboards created from reports. The dashboards are all accessible, as you see, in the navigational pane and so forth. So really want to show you this one as an example. I have my other one here, my demo dashboard, that has a few elements on it that I can work with too. But show you this one that's kind of built. I can interact with this dashboard. I can form it the exact way that I want to. So if I want to perhaps move some detail up, right, I can, or move some detail around and shift out some elements and so forth, I can. If I want to resize a particular element, I can do that, and then maybe bring it in a little bit. There we go. And then reposition it and put it up here. I can do that. If I want to um, edit some of this so that I can put in a title or a subtitle or whatever, I can hit the ellipse and go to pin and then put in, here's the title. I can put in a subtitle and apply that, and it will actually do that to the dashboard item. So lots of little interesting ways that you can work with the dashboard to make your data your own, right, and so forth. Once I have my dashboard like I like it, then I'm able to share that dashboard. Now, sharing it, I need to know some controls about who actually has access to it. Here's where I can invite individuals to the dashboard so that they can see it. Here's where I can see who has access and so forth, right? Then once it's shared, it's available again on any device. So I could use my iPhone, my Android, my Windows phone, whatever, to look at it, my tablet, whatever, just to access it and keep track of it. So dashboarding, again, not really to the config manager part yet, but uh, dashboarding is something that people really like to tell the story of their data and to try to keep it up to date as you go, kind of thing. And so, as we turn the corner and we talk about config manager related stuff, then we will have dashboards that we'll build and talk more about it probably then, right? But pretty easy to interact and so forth. One of the things that's out here that easily is overlooked is this thing called Q&A. And so dashboards are interactive, and you can actually ask questions about your data in the dashboard. So for example, I've built this dashboard. If I want to ask a question about the data that is in the dashboard, I can. Right now, you see whenever I click Ask a Question, there's some examples that you have here that you can ask for. You can actually preload some of these examples. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But for now, just a couple of questions I'll ask. So what was our revenue? Right? And so it'll tell me. But then notice that it underlines revenue. I could change that and say, what was our unit cost? What was our unit price? So I'll select that. It'll tell me, as I tell it other things, what was our total cost? It'll tell me that too, right? So a really interesting way to kind of look at your data just using normal Q&A that you might use with another individual. Another one, what product had the highest sales, right? And so it'll tell me, and it will produce a chart here to kind of give me that visually impactful detail. I can click on, here's another couple. I can say product subcategory. It'll adjust accordingly. It would, instead of sales, maybe I could say channel or something. It will adjust accordingly, right? And so not only do you have the dashboard as you build it, you have a dashboard that people can interact with and ask detailed questions, really, and get the data the way they want it, which is really cool, right? Now, okay, so that's kind of the top level. Now, you can control how Q&A works. You can build in featured questions, for example. Now, this is one dashboard. I'll exit Q&A. So a couple of options to edit the dashboard and Q&A settings specifically. So on the dashboard, you can click the ellipse and then go to settings. Lots of different ellipses around here. You can decide whether you even want to show the Q&A search. Then you can go to the data sets and define featured questions if you want to add a question and so forth. You can or decide whether Cortana is allowed to interact with the data set and so forth, right? So cool abilities here. There's other places you can filter as well. So if I go back to the data set and then click on the ellipsis here and go to settings, again, kind of a toggle, whether Q&A is on, and a few other related settings in here. So a few things that we can look at, right? All right, let me pull this out. So another piece that I want to hit just real quick, we've talked about it before, but just to kind of show it again now that we're the Power BI service and to highlight at least one thing, right, is Excel. So there's lots of folks out there that have Excel spreadsheets and they use them frequently to kind of maintain some data relationships and so forth. Power BI can use your Excel spreadsheets without a problem. And if you do have Excel spreadsheets that are kind of grown into a key position of usefulness for your business, I would encourage you to see what Power BI would tell you about them. So I have one spreadsheet here that I just used, a really simple one, as an example. The one key to making sure that Power BI is able to read your data set is to make sure it's in a tabular format. Mine is. If it's not currently in a tabular format, you can convert it to a table format by selecting your data and then going to Insert and then Table. So I don't have any data selected, so I don't have this available right now. And mine's already in a table form anyway. Now, this is a simple data set, but I can import that very easily to Power BI. Before I do that, one other thing. So just a reminder, Power BI is built based on um, Excel power tools, really. I mean, Power BI is kind of the ultimate culmination of that. So if you have Excel spreadsheets, workbooks that are formatted with the power tools, Power BI can take those, it can use them, no problem. Import process is the same for either one. So let me go ahead and import an Excel spreadsheet, that sample one I built. To do that, I'm going to click on Get Data, and then Files, I'm going to get a file. And so I have just a local file that I'm going to get, and it will be right here. And I'm going to open that up, and then I can just import the data, and it does that. Let's see, failed to publish. I might already have that in there. That probably is why. Let me try to import it, see if that makes any difference. Either way, it's in there, and that probably is why it didn't let me do it, because it let me do it just a minute ago. Yeah, uploading data. Okay, cool. So it's connected to my workbook. It uploaded. You see some adjustments over here. Here's my reports that it just pulled in some different things. Data optimized report. Really not a whole lot probably exciting here to look at, but nevertheless, Power BI Service did import this data. Now, it's working on this. I'll try to come back to that in a minute, just see what it finds. But one other option in the Get Data section was OneDrive, right? Now, when I imported the local file, Power BI Service makes a copy of that, and it's kind of a static copy that we use. It could be that you have Excel spreadsheets that routinely update. And as you work in an environment, for the ConfigMgr world, that may be software deployments that you're keeping track of and exporting to Excel, or it could be software updates, or it could be whatever, right? And if you choose to store those on OneDrive and you choose to link those to Power BI from OneDrive, Power BI knows how to get to OneDrive. And so if you change that data in your Excel spreadsheet that's stored on OneDrive, Power BI just updates, and it will take that updated data and allow you to see it without having to do additional work in your dashboards and so forth, which is really a pretty cool option for analysis. So this is just showing me the data set. Didn't think it would be all that exciting, right? So that really rounds out what I wanted to show you with Power BI. Looking forward, we're going to take the knowledge we've learned in parts 1, 2, and 3 and begin to apply it to ConfigMgr. So we will do that in part 4, and we will see you then.